Powered by Riverside.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of In-Laws and Out of Bounds. I am your host, Hagen. Sitting across from me here is our other host, Emilio, and we're excited to be back. What seems like it's been forever. It's been quite a while since we've been here, but we're excited to be back. Got a lot to talk about here. We're going to break down all the key moments from the NFL Conference Championship games, the turning points, standout performances, all that good stuff. After talking about the championship Sunday, we'll shift gears to a little bit of college football news. We'll have a little bit of NFL talk after that as well, and then we'll wrap things up about just looking at sports around the world and what's going on. We've got some just some different updates just to see what's happening, because we are a sports show, and as we are winding down on our football season, we'll have a lot of off-season talk that we're going to be doing, but we're going to have some other things that we're going to circle in the rotation a little bit just to help find some of those gaps that we may be missing there. So, yeah, we're excited. It is a lot of fun. It was a good weekend of football, or at least a good Sunday of football. And yeah, what do you think, Emilio? Got anything to say?
Hey, rain, snow, freezing ice, don't matter. Drake May and 4.
Drake May and 4. Before we get into it as well, don't forget to go check us out on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. We put reels out of all this stuff, whatever AI says is the best and it's going to make everybody click the like button and comment button. Make sure that you give us a like and a follow on Spotify as well. Rating, we really appreciate it. It helps support the channel, helps us get out to more listeners and all that. So we do appreciate it a lot. And yeah, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Brewster Bird Hunt, as well. They've given us a lot of support and we really appreciate it. And if you're looking to dove hunt, do some upland bird hunting, they're the best in all of Texas, so make sure that you go give them some love. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Give them a like. 5-star rating. They deserve it. They've got the best guides, the best birds. If you want to limit out when you go, they're the group to do it with. So go check them out, brewsterbirdhunts.com. Give Landon a shout over there. He'll take care of you guys and let them know that we sent you, because we really appreciate their support, and it would mean a lot if you could go support them as well. So, yep. With that, I think we're good to get right into it. We got our Super Bowl set now. We are going to have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the New England. Oh my gosh, that's what I wanted. Actually, I'm sorry. I literally just looked over here at my sheet, my notes, and I saw the Rams logo. Retake. We're going to have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the New England Patriots. A rematch from what, 2018?
I was thinking about it the other day. I think it was 2017.
2017, almost 10 years ago.
No, I'm lying to you. It's earlier than that. 2014. Was
it that long ago? Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, a rematch nonetheless. Last time we saw these two in the Super Bowl, you have the infamous not giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the 1-yard line that helped Tom Brady get one of his 7 Super Bowls that he has. And that went up in the in Seattle folklore of what would have happened if you would have given it to Marshawn. All right. So, anyways, that's in the past. We're going to see a rematch there of what could have been. See if Seattle can get their vengeance there. But to get there, they had to get through not only a very stingy Denver Bronco defense, but some pretty bad weather conditions that happened in the second half. It was snow and strong winds that affected both offenses. Really led to a low-scoring game. But the New England Patriots were able to travel to Empire Field at Mile High and beat the Denver Broncos 10-7 in that cold, snowy, and defensive battle game. You had only 2 touchdowns on the game. This was a 10-7 game, and Drake May had a 6-yard rushing score, and then Jarrett Stidham had a long touchdown pass that he was able to – or it wasn't a long touchdown. It was about 10 yards to Cortland Sutton, and they were able to get on the board early. One of the big things that everybody's talking about was Sean Payton on that fourth down early in the game before the weather got really bad, deciding to go for it with your backup quarterback, where both of the teams hadn't been able to move the ball. It was early in the game, but both of them hadn't been able to move the ball very well before that, other than that one long touchdown drive that Denver was able to put together where they had a really long strike down the field. Came down, decided to go for it. It was the second time he went for it on fourth down and on that drive, and it bit him in the butt on that, and they walked away without any points, and it really kind of shifted that momentum a little bit there. The Patriots were able to settle down, really get in that defensive battle. And then, as if you didn't watch it, which I'm sure most of you saw, the difference in field conditions from the middle of the third quarter, just about really the second half, went from just a cold game, nothing on the ground, and then a little bit of snow flurries, and then you couldn't even see what the yard marks were on the field. So that was it was really interesting to see how that weather affected them. Drake May only had 86 yards. You say in May we trust. What do you have to say about these 86 yards only right there?
Right. That's all they needed was 86 out of him.
86 yards. On the other side of the ball, Jarrett Stidham went 17 of 31, 133 yards, one touchdown, one interception. The interception, he just threw it up there at the end. I don't really know what they were thinking. He had it the play before. Romo talked about it. You know, he could have, if Mims would have widened out a little bit towards the sideline, he maybe could have thrown it. And then it's like he was just kind of like, man, I had that once before. I'm going to try to throw it. He didn't have good field position. He had a guy right on top of him. He just chunked it up. There, Ramon Stevenson led the rushing yards for the Patriots, 71 yards. Malik Hollins, coming back off injured reserve, had two catches for 51 yards. And there wasn't much offense there. R.J. Harvey only had 37 yards on the ground for the Broncos. Mims had 62 receiving yards on 4 receptions as well. As a team, the Patriots had 206 total yards. The Broncos 181. The biggest difference in the game was the 2 turnovers by the Broncos. What did you think there when old Jarrett Stidham? You see the inexperience, right, and not starting and stuff, and he was trying to get the ball thrown away, and it ended up being a backwards pass, and the Patriots were able to pick it up and eventually convert it over. That was a huge point in the game, right?
Yeah, that was that was relatively surprising, even for a backup quarterback. You don't expect him, especially under Sean Payton, for a backup quarterback to panic like that. You would think he'd have him prepared. Like, look, the only thing you got to do is not turn over the damn football.
Hold on to the ball for getting sacked. Yeah, and he shoved it
onto the fucking football. You know, I mean, Jesus.
I know,
but you know, you can coach it. You can coach it. What will your mind do? You'll throw to the outside, or you'll throw a damn shovel pass backwards. So that was surprising. You know, huge swinging point. I think that was the second biggest swinging point for me. I think eventually the Patriots would have got on the board in that half. Whether I think it would have been on that particular turnover on downs. If it wasn't a turnover, had they just called it an incomplete pass, I think the Patriots would have got on the board there. But for me, that first Patriots drive out of the half, that was the game changer, because they chewed up so much clock, and by the time they got their 3 points to give them a lead, the weather was so bad at that point that, you know, that was all she wrote. Then it was just a defensive struggle from there. And we talked about it. The team that could find a running game would probably win this one. And Ramondre Stevenson, boy, he looked like he wanted to drop the rock a couple times, but he managed to tuck the points and hold on to it.
Yep.
And they found a running game. And it wasn't super efficient, but it was enough between Drake May and Ramondre Stevenson. You know, Drake May came in super clutch on a couple of runs. He did not throw the ball very much at all. But at that point, it was just a game of keep away. So, you know, throw it out of bounds, take whatever you can get.
Yeah, and really hard for him to see his team, right? At one point, it seemed like, you know, they said that what you're seeing on TV doesn't even come close to what's actually on the field. And they were all in all white, right?
Yeah.
And what about that one first down? He didn't tell anybody about that. You know, he was going to keep the ball. He just came up with it on his own. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow. For a second-year player to
But
be doing that.
it was I mean, a lot of people would probably think that game was crap. I loved it. I mean, that's got to be the coolest, scenario, situation, environment to play a football game in, especially with what was on the line. Obviously, if you're a Broncos fan, you probably hate that, but it was a old school dogfight, and really the Patriots just started sending the house. You eliminated the run game completely and said, "Okay, Jarrett, beat us if you can." But
Yeah. Beat us
hell, a
home.
lot of those guys would catch a pass or even get a handoff, and it was like, "Let me find my footing first." And it was this. It wasn't even like they were running. There was like a slow jog to try to keep your balance. So
Yeah.
it
I
wild.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to me is I don't really know I don't know how big of a difference Bo Nix truly makes in that game as far as points being scored because both of those defense are playing really hard. I think his biggest difference is he doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And I think it just comes from him having more. I mean, that was Stidham's first start of the whole season, right? So he's been around the league. Yeah, you can say, hey, he's a veteran guy, but, Nix has been out there all season. So there's a real big difference of you hear about it all the time from NFL players from going from the scouting squad right on the practice field to actual in game and just trying to do something to keep your team ahead. I don't know if May and those guys go down and score on that drive if they're able to punt it away and get it out of their territory. Obviously, giving the ball up at your 12-yard line is going to hurt you no matter what. So that was the biggest deal right there. If they hold them. I don't know if New England gets on the board, and this may end in a 7-3 game. To be honest with you, so I agree with you. I think it was a great atmosphere, a great game. It was a lot of fun. It was defense. I love seeing them in the snow, going back and forth, and honestly, that's what Denver needed for this to really be competitive because there just didn't seem like a way after that first drive. They kind of came out really swinging, but after that, they haven't had a true, really solid running game all year. And New England at some point was going to do exactly what you said and just start rushing and saying, "Hey, beat us 1-on-1." And there just probably wasn't a way that was going to happen. So
Yeah, and even towards the end of the first half, as they kind of waited a while and held their cards close to the chest, but they weren't doing anything super crazy to Stidham, and I think they finally decided to start getting creative there a little bit, doing some twists, doing some stunts, doing different stuff, and by that second half, boy, they were just dialing it up at that point, and
yep.
I mean, you don't have footing, the weather's bad, and you don't really know what's coming at you anymore, so it was just a perfect storm, really, after that, once they got the lead.
Yeah, for sure. The Patriots are going to be going to the Super Bowl for the 12th time in their franchise history. The Broncos are going to be sitting there, wondering what if they had Bo Nix, all this kind of stuff. The Broncos are still a young team, so they may have time to get this still figured out. Peyton is going to have another year with these guys. Maybe they can push forward and make another run at it next year. Like I'm sure they will, barring you don't get the injury bug or anything like that. But the game directly after that, the NFC Championship game, was a completely different game than what we saw in Denver. It was a high-scoring game, a lot of back and forths. The Seahawks were able to beat the Rams 31-27. It was a lot of fun. This is only these two quarterbacks. They came out. They performed really well. You had Matthew Stafford, who was 22 of 35 for 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Sam Darnold was 25 of 36 for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. This is only the second game in NFL history where both quarterbacks have thrown for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. The only other game happened with the Chiefs and Bills, where that was in 2021 in the divisional round with Josh Allen throwing 4 touchdowns and Patrick Mahomes throwing 3. Matthew Stafford is also the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for at least 350-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and lose in the playoffs. So unfortunate history there for Matthew Stafford. The running game never went super crazy like we thought it was. The Rams, they ran the ball for 114 yards total. Blake Corum led the way there with 55 yards. Puka Nacua had another great game. He's just a dog, like we've talked about. He's just always doing something. 9 catches for 165 yards and 1 touchdown. On the other side, the Seahawks ran the ball for 75 yards. Kenneth Walker III accounted for 62 of those and 1 touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 10 catches, 153 yards, and 1 touchdown. Unfortunately, DeMarcus Lawrence for the Seahawks had a sack. You get to rub it in our face there. The total offense here, the Rams had 479 yards of offense. The Seahawks had 396. I mean, first downs 26-24. They didn't have a ton of penalties here. They had the time of possession is 28 minutes to 31 minutes. There was 1 turnover by the Rams that really affected the game, where it was the muff punt. Seattle was able to get on the ball and score. Seahawks, they had the taunting on Woodson, or that's not his name. It's is it Woodson? Yeah, there you go, Woolen. That ended up giving the Rams a first down on that 4th and 12, and they were able to go down and hit Puka Nacua for that touchdown. So both teams able to capitalize on it. Where it really came down to it was that on that 4th and 4, and the Rams running a really odd play, and Stafford putting it into a spot where his receiver didn't have really a chance. That was not what I expect to see from a Los Angeles Rams team at that point in it. And then Seattle did a really good job of draining a ton of time, taking it out, and the Rams had about 25 seconds or so to try to turn around and get the ball down the field, get in some kind of at least Hail Mary position, and Puka Nacua got thrown the ball, caught it, and was unable to get out of bounds by a foot or so. And the clock ran out, and the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl to take on the Patriots here. Sam Darnold, he proves all of us wrong. Definitely proves me and you wrong here. It's it's crazy to think about.
It's wild. Hell of a game. I mean, real exciting. Lots of points. Defense left a lot to be desired. And man, it seemed like there towards the end it was going to come down to whoever got the ball last. And the Seahawks didn't get the ball last, but pretty much last, and made the most of the time that they had the ball on that last possession. Man, just a whole lot here. You mentioned the run game being kind of abysmal for the Rams. We thought it would have a much bigger impact, but it seemed like the Seahawks wanted them to throw, and the Rams effectively were using their pass game. They were taking everything underneath. Any check down that was given to them, they were getting it and just making one guy miss, picking up 4 yards. One guy miss, picking up 3 yards. And they were just trickling the ball down the field that way. You look at their, Matthew Stafford's stat sheet, and he's got 350 yards. Well, he effectively replaced the run game by, running a old school SMU from the early 2000s offense, that run and gun where they just dump it and dump it and dump it until you're down on the goal line. And then you talk about Sam Darnold, and you're right. I did not see this coming. I fully expected him to shit the bed, and he did not shit the bed. He played out of his mind, really. I mean, and we've seen flashes of that throughout the season, but we've also seen flashes where he's not been very good. And I did not expect him to have the day that he had. Kudos to the Seahawks. I think they're everybody's initial favorite for the Super Bowl, and there's good reason there. I mean, their defense plays well when they need to. Obviously, they gave up a lot against the Rams, but who's not going to give up a lot against that offense? And then, if Sam Darnold's going to play that well, they should be the favorite. That's just the facts.
100%. And Sam Darnold, with all the credit, is just he wasn't just the quarterback that was just there, right? He's the reason that they are going to the Super Bowl. He had to go toe-to-toe with Matthew Stafford, which he's done before this season, but he really solidified himself there, and, he was able to duel it out back and forth. So definitely kudos to Sam Darnold in there. He's had a long journey, played on multiple different teams, been called a bust, all that kind of stuff. So, really, really good kudos to him. And, why wouldn't the Seahawks be the favorite going into the Super Bowl right now with the way Patriots have played? They've had a very steady offense. Drake May at times has shown to be able to score points in multiples. The defense is going to be really where they rely heavy on. But that Los Angeles Rams team came in. They were the first, scoring, number one in scoring in the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks defense was the number one scoring defense in the NFL. It was a unstoppable force versus an immovable object. And, in the end, the Rams couldn't do enough to keep up with them. So, yeah, it's the Cowboys fan in me really hurts to see DeMarcus Ware DeMarcus Ware already won a Super Bowl. It just adds on to it. DeMarcus Lawrence, 1 year removed from the Dallas Cowboys, being able to go and join a team, especially like the Seahawks. I thought when he joined the Seahawks, he said, "Oh, I want to go win a Super Bowl," and I was like, "Man, you're not going to win one in Seattle." And now it looks like he's going to win one, just 1 year removed. And it hurts too, just to be able to see both of these teams have gone from championship teams within about that 10 to 12 year span, done a rebuild in their own different ways, right? And here they are again back in the Super Bowl, and it's 30 years. And, so there's a lot of different emotions that I feel with those kind of things right there. And it sucks because the Cowboys need to get their shit together. But it is what it is. The Seahawks are going to make their fourth appearance in the Super Bowl. That's pretty good. That's, for them, that's fantastic. I did have a stat here. Let me tell you here. Folded this one up. Darnold became – I'll tell you this. You tell me the list. Here's the list of Seattle quarterbacks that have thrown for 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in a playoff game. Who do you think's on that list for the Seattle Seahawks quarterbacks?
Matt Hasselbeck.
Not even the great Matt Hasselbeck has done that, nor Russ. Sam Darnold is the first Seahawk quarterback in history to do that.
He's also the first quarterback from USC to start in the Super Bowl, apparently.
Man, and that's pretty wild stat, too, because there's been some really good quarterbacks come from USC.
Matt Leinart.
Yeah. No, it is. Seattle is an early favorite, 4.5-point favorite in the Super Bowl. Over under is 45.5 points. Super Bowl odds, Super Bowl MVP odds, Darnold is number one at plus 130. Drake May follows him at plus 235. Then you have Smith and Jigba, Walker III, Stevenson, and Shaheed in that order there.
Wow.
Who would you put money on?
Drake May.
Drake May? You're going to go with the Patriots?
I'm not giving it away yet, but that's who I would put money on. If somebody gives you 10,000 to 1 odds, you take it every time.
Take it every time.
If John Mellencamp ever wins an Oscar, I'm going to be a rich man.
The Seahawks are the favorites. I think right now, looking at it, I think that Seattle is the one to do it. I do have 2027 Super Bowl odds too, if you'd like to look at that and hear that.
Dear. Who's on your list?
This is not my list. It's FanDuel.
Okay.
So tied at first to go to the Super Bowl, you have the Rams and Seahawks as the favorites.
Okay.
Followed by the Bills, Patriots, Eagles, Lions, Ravens in that order. I'd say it's pretty simple then for that. No Cowboys on there. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's just how I saw it right there. So they're already putting out 2027 Super Bowl odds there. I do want to say it's unfortunate Matthew Stafford wasn't able to get the job done. I really hope it's not his last year. You look at these two teams going forward. The Seahawks potentially are going to have a lot to continue going on here. And then, what does Los Angeles look like going forward? That's going to be a big
point. Really, if you start looking at the Rams roster, you have a team that can obviously contend for a Super Bowl. So as far as what you need to address, it's not much. I would, if I'm the Rams, I'm definitely thinking about some contingency planning because I don't think Stetson Bennett's going to be the guy moving forward. So you got to start looking at a young guy to kind of get some time if Matthew Stafford's going to stick around for a little bit. So,
And this draft isn't the one to do it, though. That's the thing. I mean, where they're at, picking two, if Ty Simpson falls that far, is that what you really want to get? I think they have some other holes within their team that they would like to address, even on that defensive side of the ball. Ken Stafford, it's not so much does he want to. I think it's can he with his body. He came into the year, he had that was that chiropractic or the whatever it was, the cold thing, the trailer outside of the of training camp and all that, just working on his back that was messed up. They didn't really know how well he's going to be able to go. So it's unfortunate if he doesn't, if this is his last year. Obviously, it was great to watch him. It was fun. He's going to be the league MVP, all that stuff. Just really wanted to see him get to the Super Bowl and be able to go out, as a champion. That'd have been good. So, but the stage is set. We got 2 Sundays to wait. We got this Sunday, and then the next Sunday will be the Super Bowl. So it'll be fun. We'll have a whole prediction on that, and we'll go from there. But going into more NFL news after we've hit those things. Mike McCarthy was hired as the Steelers head coach. He's the 4th head coach since 1969, the oldest coach in Pittsburgh Steeler history at 62 years old. One of the big questions here is Roger going to stay now? The duo is one of 12 quarterback and head coaching duos, to have 100+ wins with their 107 wins together. What do you think? I mean, McCarthy, he's coached. This is his 3rd iconic team, being he's had the Green Bay Packers first, and the Dallas Cowboys, and now the Steelers. Can he take them to the promised land?
Yeah, it's I mentioned this earlier because before we got on there, but it's hilarious to me. The Steelers hiring Mike McCarthy is like shitting your pants and changing your shirt. God, man, that's a perfect analogy.
He's the Mike Tomlin of offense. Because it'll be mediocre, right?
No, I mean, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't know that I want to come back after the way that last season looked. Towards the end of the year, it started to look pretty rough, and It looked like he was ready to hang it up. So, I mean, it'd be probably beneficial to the Steelers for him to come back for this 1 year. But again, they're another team that's in a position where you got to find your contingency quarterback and your quarterback for the future, and this is not the draft to do it in. So if the Steelers really want to commit, they'll go and buy one in the free agent market, but really it's not a great year for that either. So if Aaron Rodgers says he wants to come back, that'd be great for them, I think. I think he'd be good enough to go 10-7 and make it playoffs again.
They've been pushing that quarterback thing off for a while. They tried it with Kenny Pickett, excuse me. Yeah, that was the last time they tried, and after that, it was like, hey, let's just get whatever veteran quarterback we can get in here because we feel like we're a quarterback away, and never been able to hit. I
think what they now I can't obviously I don't know for a fact, but it seems like the front office decided that they thought they were too much of a defensive team and wanted to change the game on offense. So I feel like that's why they brought McCarthy in. You talk about a guy that kind of reinvented, not necessarily reinvented, but re-imaged the West Coast offense and turned it into something spectacular there in his time in Green Bay. It looked a little stale whenever he was in Dallas because
one of the best offense. 3 years in a row, they won 12 games, and they were top offensive teams. Don't start that shit. Anyways, go on.
Stale.
Yeah, whatever.
But, maybe that's what they're after is something a little bit different from what they were seeing. I thought that their hire for Arthur Smith to be their play caller this year was a strange one, and it didn't work out. I mean, everybody saw what Arthur Smith did in Atlanta, and it didn't work out. So I don't know why they thought this would be different, but we'll see what direction they go. Who do you think is going to be Mike's OC?
I have no idea. I really have no clue. I hadn't even thought about it. This move for me is not appealing in any way. I think McCarthy is mere image of what he was. I honestly, you take a team like what the Steelers are right now. He couldn't win with what the Cowboys had. The talent they had around them. And you can say whatever you want about the Cowboys. doesn't matter. Uh, Facts don't care about your feelings. So, yeah, he's just washed out. It doesn't matter. He could have freaking, I don't know, you name the top offensive coordinator. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna make a damn difference, to be honest with
You
you.
don't think so?
Nope.
I feel like the biggest difference between the Steelers organization and the Cowboys organization is that the front office for the Steelers is at least a little hands off, kind of lets them do what they want.
But they don't ever get anybody. I mean, they don't make the right decisions. You know, we talk about, oh, yeah, the Steelers are this great. They're always in the playoffs and they're first round, out. They haven't won a Super Bowl in what? How long has it been? Over 16 years, 17 years. They haven't been in a Super Bowl in a long time since they lost Aaron Rodgers. Was that the last time they were in the Super Bowl? And they won it before that. So, I mean, the Steeler team has consistently either they've had, when they had the three big bees, the bumblebees or whatever the hell they called themselves, they had that. They couldn't get the other side figured out. And now here recently, they've let go of people like George Pickens. They haven't been able to keep like James Conner. They go and trade for a DK Metcalf that doesn't work out necessarily in their way. I mean, I think that front office team or staff gets more credit than they truly deserve. I don't, if this was the front office of 15 years ago, sure. Yeah, but not nowadays. There's really nothing that impresses me about the Steelers. They're always in contention. They're always in the playoffs. Sure. I mean, I wouldn't say contention, but they're in the playoffs. But outside of that, they hadn't really been a threat since Big Ben was, before Big Ben's like last 3 years. So
it'll be interesting though. Maybe Big Mike is the turnaround.
We'll see. Yep. Other NFL news.
I got some real quick. Finally, the NFL got it right, and Shedeur Sanders is going to be in the Pro Bowl games.
That was actually my next thing. 3-4 record, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. It says right here, how big of a joke is the Pro Bowl nowadays? They're going to have the flag football game and all the dodgeball stuff next to the Tuesday of Super Bowl week. Yeah, so Sanders is going to take Drake May's spot, obviously because May's going to be playing in the Super Bowl. And I doubt you want your starting quarterback to be playing a flag football game the week of the Super Bowl. So here comes Shedeur Sanders. Because literally everybody else was hurt.
Everybody else. Time to shine.
Yeah, it just shows you how big of a joke this is. And
it's really sad to see how bad this Pro Bowl thing has just gone downhill.
Yep.
I mean, you see it a lot with a lot of All-Star games, other than maybe the MLB because they half-ass try to keep it entertaining.
Yep.
But from what it used to be with Sean Taylor knocking the punter's head off to this flag football nonsense is stupid.
Yep. Yeah, there's just it's ridiculous, and Pro Bowl means nothing nowadays. It's wild because people used to get into the Hall of Fame based off Pro Bowls.
Yeah,
like you could be a 2-time All-Pro and then an 8-time Pro Bowler, and that means you're Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an 8-time Pro Bowler, I mean, it doesn't help your resume whatsoever. So
no,
yeah.
Well, I think if you're a player and your contract is one of those incentive-based contracts, and being a Pro Bowler is part of those incentives, I'd be pissed.
Even if you don't want to play, like say you get hurt or you don't get into it, then you're still a Pro Bowl player. So now instead of, you have, say your starting 3 original quarterbacks get in there, and then you have all 3 of those get replaced with alternates. Well, then there's 6, from the AFC, so to speak, that were Pro Bowl players, right? Because Justin Herbert's been hurt, Josh Allen's been hurt. I don't know if they're going to be playing. So all 3 of those, original quarterbacks maybe have alternates for them.
Yeah.
So it's a
Pro Bowl's that's a circus.
Yeah, Pro Bowl's a joke. Talking about some more jokes of stuff, but switching to the college football world here. Dabo Swinney had a pretty irate. I say he kind of went scorched earth last week, talking about the ills of college football and the absurdity of those in charge ignoring the obvious. Just as he he laid out damning all the tampering allegations against Ole Miss. What happened essentially was that there was a linebacker, Luke Ferrari. I may be saying that incorrectly, but he was a linebacker, an all ACC linebacker for the Cal Bears, and he committed to Clemson. Well, like 2 or 3 days after he signed the contract with Clemson, he turned around and committed to Ole Miss, and it was for more money. He accused Pete Golding of, saying, hey, we're going to give you more money. We're going to, we'll do this for you and that. And in turn, what happened was that young man's agent came to Clemson and said, hey, if you want us to say you're going to make this instead of a 1-year deal, a 2-year deal for another $1 million, and on that second year we can still leave if we want. So essentially they were trying to strong arm him, and he was like, yeah, we ain't going to do this. So question just is when does this hit, like when does shit hit the fan essentially? And when are we going to see the salary cap? When is this stuff? You have multiple lawsuits going on right now with kids doing this, committing to one place, and then, within that 3-day window or 5-day window, they're turning around and signing somewhere else, just because adults are telling them to. You think about the 1,200 players. There was like 4,800 players that transferred in the portal this year, and around 1,200 of them got stuck in the portal because it closed. They didn't have any place to go. A lot of those kids will never play football again because of that. Can you really stop those kids from transferring, so to speak? There's a lot of talk about really the rules around it are you just have to be academically enrolled in that university to be eligible to be on a roster if you have eligibility left. There's so much nonsense here that's going on. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, forward. Whenever they started this NIL stuff, it's very apparent now that they had zero plan for what it was going to look like.
Yep.
And it's gotten real ugly. I mean, you talk about when it's going to blow, and really, it's just a free-for-all right now. I mean, Dabo's one of the few people that from the start has kind of been at the mountaintop screaming that there's problems, and everybody else has kind of just embraced it and, reaped the benefits of it, or tried to at least. I don't know how much success Dabo's going to have. He looks like he's to a point where he's not going to try to adapt to this new generation. Man of morals, which, you can appreciate. That's great. But when it comes to college football, the only thing that really matters is winning. And I don't know that he's going to be able to do it with keeping his morals at the same time. So, kudos to him for sticking to his guns. But it's crazy what it's turned into. Really, there's no loyalty anymore. There's no desire for playing for a school because that's the school you grew up being a fan of. There's none of that anymore. It's just how much money can I get and for how long?
Yeah.
And, that's – I don't know. I see both sides because these kids do risk their bodies. If they don't get an NFL contract, then, they risk their bodies for nothing.
And they're getting free education if you're on scholarship. It's not for nothing. How many people out there can't afford to go to school? That's the biggest crock of shit ever.
These kids ain't here to play school. I mean, come on, they're here to play football.
Well, they have an opportunity that they can do this. Like it's,
I mean, I get it, but the amount of money that the school's getting off these kids too. I mean, there's
that's fine. I have no problem with them getting paid, but to say that they don't have any other opportunity outside of getting hurt and losing that opportunity at money. Yeah, sure. That's fantastic. I mean, I get it, but you're still going to school. I mean, how many regular kids that go to college say they get into a vehicle accident and they can't do it? I mean, I don't know. They can't pay for the school somehow. These kids still have a scholarship no matter what, and they're still going to get to, figure it out. If
they get injured, most of the time those scholarships get ripped away. If it's a season-ending injury or a career-ending injury, that's it. They're off the team the next year.
Well, I don't know. Some of those things are kind of like contracts in a way. I don't know if you necessarily get just cut off like that. I may be wrong. Maybe we should look into that a little bit. But I
don't know.
we got different opinions there. I agree that those schools are making a ton of money, and they're using their name and likeness and all that kind of stuff. And sure, pay them, get your money, do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you're getting at what some of these schools like what is A&M, for example, how much for a year of school, right? 2 semesters. It's like, how much money is that? $30,000 to go, right? Kids are coming out of school $200,000 in debt or whatever. Like, come on. Like, now I'm not saying those degrees are worth the shit. If you go there and you get a stupid liberal arts degree, or I don't know, underwater basket weaving or whatever the hell, what do people go to school for and they can't find a job? I mean, that's on your own. That's your own damn fault. Like, you should be in debt for making a dumbass decision. But yeah. Anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No.
I will tell you, Deion Sanders is one that is holding his kids in this NIL stuff. If you want to have money, you're going to act like an adult. And he's always been that way since he's gotten it. He came out with a list of fines for violations of team policy. If you show up to practice late, $500 fine. No show to practice, $2,500 fine. Late to meeting or film, $400. No show, meeting, or film, $2,000. Late to conditioning, $1,000. No show conditioning, $1,500. Late to treatment, $1,000. No show to treatment, $1,500. Violation of team rules, $1,000 to $2,500, depending on the severity of it. And then public or social misconduct, like getting arrested, anything like that, depending on the severity of it, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. So he's holding these guys accountable. He really is taking that molding of young men into men. But I think this is a good thing. Somebody that, has, I think if you listen to Deion and what he talks about, he's made some mistakes in his past, and he's trying to make, people into better individuals. And, if you want to get paid by like a big boy, you're going to get treated like a big boy. Right. So kudos to him.
I think that's there's a way to do it, even if there's not, a decisive plan from the NCAA. From the coaching standpoint, there's a way to do it. The problem is that the coaches are also humans, and they also understand the game. And it's like the money's going to talk, and you get money for winning. So I could give a damn what these kids do. I just want to get paid. And you have a handful of coaches that are still trying to stand by the original point of being a coach, and some of them that have walked away because of how far it's gotten away from it. If you look at Nick Saban, I think he'd still be coaching if there was a better wave where he thought he could continue to mold young men into men while accomplishing what he was accomplishing. And he saw the writing on the wall, and he didn't want to be a part of it. So there's a little bit of hope there. I mean, Deion's kind of trying to do it there, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to enforce some sort of regulations on it.
I just don't. I don't know how many other coaches, in all honesty, can do this, just because Deion is who he is, and then just the way that society is nowadays with, just our political stuff. I think what I'm trying to say here is just like, a coach like this could probably get away with it versus a coach that isn't, could be looked at in a different light as well.
What are you saying?
It's a black and white thing as well.
How many stripes does a zebra got?
It's got as many as the white stripes or black stripes do. It's got as many black stripes as it does white stripes, and I believe that. But I'm just saying, from an outside perspective, there could be more harm one way than the other. I agree with what Deion's doing. I love it. I think Deion Sanders is a great human. He's a very godly man, and he definitely walks the walk, and he leads by example. And back in the day, he was very cocky, but he could back it up. And he was the man out there on the football field, right? I never got to see him play. Well, I guess when I was really young. But, I think it's great what he's doing, and I hope more people are able to do those kind of things to help these guys turn into better individuals and better young men. So, anyways.
Yep.
I think that's all the college football talk there. You got anything else?
No, I'm all good on college football.
Yep. Quick trips around the world here with just other things going on. I told you we would talk about some other sports. So we got some PGA stuff heating up here as we're getting into late winter, getting into early spring. Scotty Scheffler wins the American Express. He's got one start this year and one win. And with that win, he becomes the second youngest player behind Tiger Woods to 20 PGA wins. He has won 14 of his last 35 starts. That is very impressive. Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer in the world, and he continues to prove that. So especially when you can get on there and have your name in a sentence with Tiger, right? Greatest golfer of all time. That means something. Brooks Koepka is back with the PGA Tour after his stint with Live Golf. Did you hear about that one, Emilio?
They let him come back finally.
They let him come back. Yeah, they let him come back. So he lost out on a ridiculous amount of money. I really don't understand. I don't know. I haven't listened to anything of why he came back or anything, but it's good for the game of golf, to let some of these guys back. Brooks Koepka is a big name. He's not the golfer that he once was, but he's a really big name. And it's glad that they could.
Weren't they trying to do a thing where there was like basically a collective bargaining agreement between those Saudis?
And they just never really
trying to merge it all back together.
Yeah, and it never really got done. Live Golf, just from. I mean, I would say I'm more than an average golf, fan as far as following it as the season gets up, and I've never really cared to watch. I've watched Live Golf just because I'm like, I want to see what's kind of going on, but it's not really like. I don't care for it. I mean, it's golf. You don't need to make it exciting. Like either you like golf or you don't. So
I think essentially what it seems like, from a bird's eye point of view, especially from somebody that doesn't watch golf all that much, is it seems like those guys that went over there felt like they could have been paid more, and this was just a way for them to negotiate or strong arm into getting what they thought 100%. They deserved.
Yeah, and they got offered millions of dollars that they would have never made. They'd had to win a ton of ton of tournaments and stuff like that. And kudos to them going and getting a lot of money. But, that's I don't think that they're getting the returns on the Live Golf that they thought they would.
Yeah.
So, Farmers Insurance Open is next. It's January 29th through the 1st. Huge tournament going on. There's going to be a lot of big names there. So exciting to see golf get back going. I know that you are excited for that, Emilio. Chomping at the bit to see that. NBA news, you've got things heating up there. You've got the trade deadline 10 days away. They talking about Giannis maybe playing his last game ever for the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see what's happening there. There's not a lot of big, rumors going on out there. They've talked about him potentially going to the Warriors. They've talked about a package with the Spurs. What Eastern Conference team wants to go after him is, that's in there. Your standings right now in the Eastern Conference, you have first through fifth here. You got the Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors, New York Knicks, and then Cleveland Cavaliers. On the Western Conference side, same 1 through 5. You have the Oklahoma City Thunder, San Antonio Spurs in that second seed, Denver Nuggets third, Houston Rockets fourth, and the Lakers in fifth there with a narrow lead over the Phoenix Suns. So things are starting to heat up here. You have All-Star break happening February 15th. So there's a lot that can happen here between who can make a blockbuster trade, who can't. And John Morant's name was thrown out there a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see really once you get past that All-Star break, things really start heating up as you get into springtime as well for the NBA. So it's going to start heating up, and you get into March. You're going to have one March Madness with basketball once that tournament gets over and get into April, May, June, playoff time, all that good stuff. It's to really be there. So a lot of exciting young teams here. If you look at it, Detroit being the number 1 seed for the NBA, that's something that you haven't seen since 2005, 6, right? It's been a really long time since they've been really competitive in that nature. The Celtics are back there, Toronto, the Knicks, Cleveland, kind of some similar teams that have been around. Obviously, the Spurs turning it around and being the number 2 seed right now. That's a huge jump from where they've been over the past couple years. But Victor Wembanyama getting a little older, DeAndre Fox getting his way there, and then Castle and Vassell and all those guys, being able, I know it's like
laser.
Yeah, it's easier. I mean, it kind of was weird how I said that. Those young guys really finding their groove, and then you got Djokovic with the Nuggets, right in there, KD, and then Luka Doncic with the Lakers, keeping them there. Anthony Davis is another trade. Talks right there of the Dallas after the Dallas made that boneheaded move and let Luka go to the Lakers. So interesting to see what happened there. You got any NBA takes before we go forward? I hadn't really kept up with it super well.
No, I've seen some stuff back and forth. The thing that surprised me on that list was the Boston Celtics being in second place without Jason Tatum pretty much this whole year. I mean, I kind of expected them to be in a rebuild mode. They kind of traded some pieces and moved some stuff around. So shout out to the Celtics for keeping the season afloat.
Yep. The NHL season is also heavy and underway. You've got a lot of teams that are separating themselves going forward. I don't have the standings necessarily in front of me. I do know the Dallas Stars are up there in the Western Conference. They're trying to keep pace. They're in that third or fourth seed right now, continuing to battle it out. But you do have the Stadium Series coming February 1st, which is really cool. If you haven't been able to see it, it's when they play outside this year. They're going to be playing at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, which is going to be really interesting to see. They always try to schedule a regular season outdoor, and this will be the first time that an outdoor game played in a fully outdoor football stadium in Florida. Obviously, it's really hard. The league had to build a special ice rink with a climate-controlled tent structure due to Florida's warm weather. And then there's going to be a lot of pregame events happening there. You're going to have Tim McGraw set to perform during halftime of that. So you get a little Indian outlaw. Anyways, it'll be
Tim McGraw, you clown. That's Gary Allen.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That's freaking Alan Jackson, dude. Anyways, so it's really cool. They had their Winter Classic earlier in the year, but if you like to see something that's a little different, a spectacle, I definitely say check that out. That's February 1st. There's no NHL All-Star game, which would be coming up due to the Winter Olympics. So they didn't want to have these international teams have to worry about playing into that. They were going to try to do something where it was like an introduction into the Winter Olympics, but it just didn't work out for whatever reason. But me being the patriotic man that I am, the USA hockey team is going to start play February 2nd against I told myself I was going to try work on pronouncing this before, but it's Lavita. I don't even know how to say it.
Latvia.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. That's stupid ass country. February 12th.
You just insulted a whole country.
And then the 14th, they're going to be taking on Denmark. The 15th, they're going to take Germany. The playoff round begins February 17th. So it'll be fun. Make sure you support the United States of America as they go on this hockey journey. The odds to win the Winter Olympics this is in hockey, not everything. You have Canada plus 125, the United States plus 200, followed by Sweden, Finland, Czechia, and then Switzerland. So, yeah. I didn't mean to insult the whole country, okay? I just can't say the dumbass name. That's not really insulting them. So, speaking of the Winter Olympics, you got opening ceremony February 6th. These ones are in Italy, so it's going to be in Milan. Then the Olympic competition February 4th through 22nd. The early competitions are going to be curling before like things of that nature before opening night, and then you'll have the closing ceremony February 22nd. The games are being co-hosted in cities across northern Italy, and there'll be a lot of things going on. Obviously, alpine skiing. You got the freestyle snowboarding, cross country skiing, ski jumping. There's 116 medal events across 16 disciplines. That is, it's more than Beijing had in 2020. There's several new events and formats. The alpine skiing's got 10 events, biathlon 11, bobsled's got 4. Israel has their first ever bobsled team. I don't know how you do that in the Middle East. I guess it's like Jamaica, right? Some people, they don't believe Jamaica has a blood team. No? You never? Okay. All right. Anyways.
The Lion King? What was that?
That was Cool Runnings. You never seen Cool Runnings?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, oh, my gosh. You are a disappointment. Cross country skiing, curling, figure skating, freestyle skiing, ice hockey, all this good stuff, right? There's a lot going on. There's a ski mountaineering. That's the first time in the Olympics. I don't know. I think they make up just a bunch of random shit people like to do and put it in there, and then you can go and say, "Hey, I'm a gold medalist." So, anyways, yep, that's all the cool stuff going on here coming on up this next couple weeks. So if you get the football blues, you've got the Winter Olympics, you got some NHL, NBA, college basketball is going on before you get into March Madness. Figure out who you want to pick for your brackets, and then we got MLB baseball. Spring training is going to get going here before too long. We'll do a MLB episode probably. Emilio is going to have to get up on his timing there, but
yep. I'm already all over it.
Already all over it. Made all the moves for the Rangers have made so Landon knows, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I've been looking at the minor league team too, talking about whom we might bring up and the whole bit. I mean, we got eyes everywhere.
Yeah, we do have the World Baseball Classic that's going to be taking place soon as well. That'll be fun. Get to see a lot of MLB teams representing their countries doing that. So, yeah, there's a lot of exciting things going on this year. Then you have, I mean, at some point here we'll have the World Cup here in the United States. That'll be fun. So, a lot of big things going on. We are still going to talk about football. There's a lot of stuff in the offseason. We're going to give a transfer portal breakdown at some point. We'll put our way too early picks out, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I talked about the way too early thing earlier, didn't I, or no?
No.
I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we'll pass it. That's okay. We'll talk about it next time. So,
you decided to dive into fucking bobsledding and mountaineering. Where the fuck that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing big. You got Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas 3, Georgia 4, Oregon 5, Notre Dame 6, Tech 7. Tied 8 is A&M and Miami. 10th is Oklahoma, BYU 11, LSU, Ole Miss, Michigan, USC, Alabama, Penn State, Utah, Washington, and Louisville are tied 18th. 21 is SMU, Iowa, Missouri, Houston, and Vanderbilt. So, anyways, we'll talk about that at a different point. So we can get into that and discuss ours and make our own way too early top 25. So,
hell yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, you got anything else?
No.
I like how I burned about like 15 minutes there just of a bunch of shit that people probably do not care about and have already turned the episode off of. But, oh well. I'm here to inform you. I'm here to give you great information that you may want to know and may not want to know. So, it's the weekend recap, baby.
I like it. I'm looking forward to that stadium series.
It's cool, man. Like, it's pretty cool. It's a cool spectacle. If you haven't, nobody watches hockey that much. I get it. I watch it every now and then, but seeing something different is it's like when they played the college basketball game on that that tanker,
CW,
on the CW.
Yeah.
Jesus. No, when they played it on the damn battleship. Dude.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
You know what I mean? They just do something different in different places. It's a lot of fun to see. So on the CW, I don't watch no shit on the CW.
Hey, dude, Smallville, don't sleep on it.
They just play reruns of Smallville and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, all right. That's it. That's all I got. If you're good,
I'm good.
I think. All right. Well, guys, we appreciate you hopping on here with us and listening to us. If you've made it this far, we always say if somebody else said they cut it off, just tell them we appreciate whatever they listen to. It doesn't matter if it's a second, a minute, 5 minutes, the whole thing. We greatly appreciate it. And thank y'all for the support. We'll be back in the next couple days, and we'll have some more stuff to talk about. I'll try to keep some useless things away if I get some bad negative comments on what I had, and we'll go from there. So yeah,
And people from Latvia are going to have some negative comments for you.
I'm gonna get my ass whooped when they by somebody. Make sure to never step foot in that country, huh? I don't even know where it is, anyways. So cool. All right, man. Well, if you're good, I'm good. We appreciate it, folks. Make sure you check us out on all the good social media stuff. Check out Brewster Bird Hunts, and we'll be back to talk about all season football stuff like this next time. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy no football for the rest of the week as well, and we'll catch you next time. So, this has been another episode of In-Laws and Out of Bounds, the weekend recap. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.